going? Okay. So, since you guys are not able to hike or go onto the ropes course this summer, we're gonna kind of do our own little hiking thing today. We're at Turkey Mountain. I'm gonna show you a couple things that you need before you start going. First of all, you wanna make sure that you have closed-toed shoes so that you are not getting into any branches or anything. Also, make sure that you have long socks. This comes in handy with poison ivy and ticks and all of that. If you don't have long socks, I highly recommend pants, especially with ticks. If you're up in the east, there's a lot of ticks, and we want to stay away from that. And then also, make sure that you have your AV gear on. And then I always carry a backpack with me, so I have my water bottle, I have my AV little bear thing. In my backpack, I have a raincoat, so if it starts raining, which it actually might on us today, we have that. And then got my prayer rope on me so we can say some prayers while we're up at the top. And then I've also got a hairband in case I get hot, and my hair will probably go up a little later. So that's what we've got to start our hike. Let's go. All right, I want to let you guys know what we are looking for. I know I said turkey, but I want to make sure that you understand the visual aspects of a turkey. Turkeys are typically golden brown on the outside. And I have never seen a head on one before, so I don't know if turkeys have heads. Maybe they're just invisible, I don't know. But whenever you're looking for one, just look for two legs just kind of running and a brown, round body. You have to be very quiet. There's a lot of wild turkeys around here. As you can see, there's one right here. You don't want to get too close to it. It's very, very vicious.
Go over there where you went before. Go over there.
If you look at this leaf right here, that was planted whenever my great-great-grandpa moved here back in 1500. It's been here for that long. Did you hear that? Stay right here. I'm gonna go see if I can find the turkey. It's a turkey, all right. All right, so we made it to the somewhat top of the hill that we just climbed. So we are gonna do a little post out right here to see if we can find any turkeys. Reminder, these are wild. They will go after you. Just a bird, not a turkey bird. No! 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 There's a spider. All right, so obviously that rock wasn't working. So we're gonna keep on going, see if we can find any more turkeys. So let's head on up. Hi, Paige. All right, everybody, we have Paige Sedaris on the phone. You wanna tell us your job at camp last summer?
I was the overnight program coordinator.
Overnight program coordinator, guys. So she knows the woods like the back of her hand. So we were just wondering, we're out here turkey hunting in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so we were wondering if you have any tips for us on turkey hunting and what we need to do to find a turkey. I found a couple, but they didn't see it, so.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes, it's kind of a little bit backwards. Just make yourself known. Throw a few rocks, really get their attention, and they'll come right to you.
Oh, throw rocks? Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be the opposite of that. We've been doing it wrong. We were just sitting there. Okay, we'll try throwing rocks this time. Maybe we can find some. So we'll probably go a little deeper into the woods. Do you have anything you want to say to the campers?
Oh, I love and miss you all so much, and I hope you have the best time at virtual camp. And I love you and I miss you.
All right, that was Paige Sedaris. She's the coolest. This year, our expert is Lance Anderson, so we might call him a little bit later just to see his tips and tricks. So, just talked to Paige a little bit ago. I found some rocks. So what Paige just told us is that she thinks that in order to find a turkey, we need to throw some rocks into the woods. So I'm gonna do just that. And we're gonna not throw it towards a path so that we don't hit a person. I didn't hear that one. It's gonna come for us. Run! Did you hear that? If we act like a turkey, they will not come for us because they think we are one of them. Sounds like he ran away far from us. We can't hear him anymore. All right, everybody, we have this year's. Do you want to tell them what you are? What your job is?
I'm the overnight program coordinator.
He's this year's overnight program coordinator. This is Lance Aniston, everybody. We are hiking through the woods right now, and since you know all about that, we were wondering if you knew how to find a turkey. So Paige, last year's overnight coordinator, told us that we needed to throw rocks into the woods and they would come. So we were wondering if you had any advice for us for our hike and trying to find these turkeys.
Yeah, I actually feel really passionate about finding turkeys when you're on a hike. And along with throwing rocks into the woods, something you can try is making turkey calls really loudly. Do you want to try it?
Yeah. Can you show us first?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick demo. Something like this.
Okay, I'm gonna try it now.
Okay.
I couldn't see, did you do anything with your hands or was it?
Not really,
okay.
But if you want, you can try and fly. Turkeys aren't really good at that, sometimes they try, so maybe just like...
Flap our wings?
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how was that?
That's great. There.
Campers at home, do you guys want to try this? Go. Okay, go for it. That was beautiful. Great job, guys.
Wow.
All right.
Great.
Thank you for helping us out, Lance. We'll try and put your advice to the test.
Sounds good.
All right, have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, hi everybody, we're back. We have a couple of townies here from Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
They're from Tulsa, Oklahoma. She's got an Oklahoma State University shirt on, so she's the real deal. So we're here at Turkey Mountain. We're still trying to social distance and everything, but I just want to ask you, do you have any tips for us on turkey hunting and how to do it?
Well, first of all, you have to be extremely quiet
Okay.
so they don't hear you coming up on you. And then you have to have some sort of trap.
Sir, do you have any advice for us?
No, this is my first time here, so I didn't realize that was a thing.
Oh, wow, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new turkey hunter. So he is with all of you guys in the sense of we're on Turkey Mountain, we don't know what we're doing. So thank you so much for your advice on turkey hunting. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and have fun to you with your first time turkey hunting. Little odd, she is from Tulsa, Oklahoma, so she's been to Turkey Mountain before. But like getting off the phone with Paige and Lance, our coordinators, they are our experts, and they kind of told us to do the opposite. She told us to be quiet, whereas Lance and Paige told us to be loud. We'll try all the different ways we've got. Let's go. I heard it! I don't know where it is though, so we'll keep walking. If you look over here, this is a turkey egg. That means a turkey was hatched here. So we have proof of the turkeys on Turkey Mountain. Well, everybody, we took a wrong turn whenever we started. We made it outside of the mountain, and so that's the road. You can see a car passing. We gotta go down that path right there, and we'll make it to the parking lot, we're hoping. Okay, everybody, we have made it out of Turkey Mountain. Unfortunately, we did not see any turkeys today, so we'll see if I need to do some research. Probably should have done that before to see how to actually find a turkey, but maybe next time I'll find one and I can show one to you for reals. But thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Love you, villagers.
Hold it.
Sit on this rock is the perfect location. Sorry, my cameraman is falling all over the place. You okay?
Hey Antiochian Village, welcome to today's Mystery Box. My name is Liam. If you don't know me, I am this summer's office manager, and I'm excited to share my favorite Pascha recipe with all of you today. So, I'm sure all of you know about Pascha. It's the #1 feast in our church. It's the day that our Lord Jesus Christ rose from the dead and saved all of us. And there's lots of beautiful ways to celebrate Pascha all around the world, in the Orthodox world especially. We all share the common tradition of staying up until midnight to eagerly await Christ's resurrection on Sunday morning. That's a beautiful tradition, but another thing that is beautiful is our theology behind Pascha. We believe that through Christ's resurrection, He opened up the doors for people of all ethnicities. It did not matter, that we all could have a connection with our true Lord. And so that's another beautiful thing about Pascha, is that it was an opportunity to open up the world to God. Of course, we use multiple languages to shout and announce the triumph of Christ's resurrection. We use the phrase, Christ is risen, and we respond with, indeed he is risen. And we use lots of other languages to announce Christ's resurrection, because we believe that there isn't one language that is perfect enough to encapsulate all of God's beauty. So, we might as well hit all the languages right off the bat. So, of course, everybody knows about Greece. And in Greek, Christ is risen is Christos anesti, and the response is alithos anesti. El Messiacam akankam os voskrese, and the response is voisinu voskrese. Is Christe agzda, and Christos anviat, and adeverat anviat. Cristo ha resucitado, en verdad ha resucitado. Cristo è risorto, e veramente ha risorto. So, hopefully you learned a new language today, and hopefully we represent a lot of languages, because there isn't one language that can encapsulate all of God's beauty. Now, after all that long introduction, I think it's time that we figure out what we're cooking today. So, without further ado, drumroll please, we are cooking Kulurakia. So, once again, with Greece, Kulurakia is Greece's national Pascha dish. It's traditionally a cookie, and 4 years ago I tried to make Kulurakia, but unfortunately I messed up the recipe and it turned out awful, and it wasn't that good. But that same year I made up my own recipe, where I transformed the recipe from cookie into a cake, and that tastes very good, and it's a delicacy of mine, and honestly it's the only thing I can cook. I think Gordon Ramsay would be proud of that. He won't be proud of anything else I make. So, yes, let's make some Kulurakia cake today. Kitchen. Today, I decided I want to make my kitchen in the great outdoors, as in my backyard, mostly because it's more scenic than my actual kitchen, and because it's beautiful out and God created this world and it's great to get out in it and see his beautiful creation. Before we start, it's never fun to cook alone, so we need some friends. So I've brought some friends. Of course, we have our one and only Billy the Villager. Billy, one of our great friends here at the village, and he accompanies us wherever we go, so I am happy to have Billy here to help me out. And we also have Saint Euphrosynos, who is the patron saint of cooking, and although Kulurakia cake is the only thing I can make, I need all the prayers I can get and all the intercessions I can get from Saint Euphrosynos to help me, so he's here to help me as well. Now, of course, make sure that your parents are home whenever you're cooking, and we will be using the stove eventually, so make sure they are home or they have your permission to use the stove. We want to make sure that everybody is safe in their homes and that we are able to enjoy our Kulurakia cake safely. Now, we need to figure out all our supplies and materials. So, to make our batter, we need a big cooking bowl. We also need a whisk to whisk together all our ingredients. We are going to be zesting an orange, so get a grater to make your zest. Also, whenever I'm baking or cooking for that matter, I always like to have just like a spoon and a knife on hand in case I need it to scrape anything off, especially like when we will be using and making zest later, that this will be helpful to get all the zest we can get. And of course, measuring cups to measure our ingredients as best as we can. Of course, I sometimes like to improvise and just use however much feels right. But yeah, make sure to get measuring cups. That's all the materials we'll need. Now we'll go through all of our ingredients for making Kulurakia cake, because I made the cookies wrong. Every Middle Eastern kitchen should have olive oil, and if it doesn't, you can use butter. After we add in our olive oil, we'll go over the measurements when I start. We're going to use sugar, followed by 2 eggs. We're going to use a 1/4 cup of milk. We are also going to add in some vanilla extract. Now, traditionally, Kulurakia is used by using the zest of an orange. However, today, my kitchen did not have an orange, but it had a lime, so we're gonna go with lime today. I've tried making this recipe with lemons. It works well as well. I've tried making this recipe with lemons before. It also tastes good. So, in reality, any form of citrus works well. I would even recommend using a combination. One time I used a lemon and a cutie, and that tasted well. So, any citrus of your choosing will work out. I haven't tried grapefruit, but I imagine why not go for it if you want to. Lastly, we're going to have baking powder. This is key. You need baking powder. You can't just omit baking powder because that's what gives us the nice texture. And, of course, you're going to want to grab some flour. So, to start off, grab your mixing bowl. Oh, one last material that I brought out. This is just because I'm in the outdoor kitchen, but I brought a bowl full of water in case I just need to rinse off my hands or anything like that. It's always good just to have some water nearby. And if you're also working outside, because it's beautiful to work in God's creation, also grab an empty bowl because, for example, for the eggshells or after we're done using your citrus, it's nice to have just to put your trash in so that you can throw that away once you go back inside. All right, it is finally time to get started making Kulurakia. So, first, grab your olive oil or your butter. You're going to measure out, if you're using olive oil or any type of oil, you're going to measure out 3/8 cups. So that would be a 1/4 cup and then plus 1/8 cup of olive oil. So, got my 1/4 cup. I'm being very careful with measuring because I don't want to do it over or under. add that right into your mixing bowl. And then I've actually found that 3/8 cups of olive oil might be a little too much. It tastes too much like olive oil afterwards. So maybe add in just a little extra splash instead. And then if you're using butter, I've made this recipe with butter also. You use half a cup of butter, or that's half a stick of butter. You can either cream it, or I found that if you just melt it in the microwave before you put it in, that also works well too. Next, we're going to want to grab some sugar. You're going to put in 3/4 cups of sugar. So I'm just grabbing a half cup. And again, although it's nice to be exact, you don't need to be completely exact. So it was about half a cup, and then we'll add in about 1/4 cup. So I just like to go halfway, but if you want to go more exact with your measurements, that's completely all right. All right, now a key part of this recipe is we don't add in, you always mix in the ingredients as you go. You don't just put in all your ingredients and just mix it up later. It's good to mix it after each individual ingredient so you keep the batter moving and so that it keeps getting smooth and it's the same density throughout, if that makes sense. Alright, so far with just my oil and my sugar, it's just kind of a paste, but we're going to add in 2 eggs right now. Unfortunately, I'm not skilled enough to do the like 1 crack thing, so I'm just gonna do 2-hand because I can't do anything else. It's one of the best egg cracks I've ever done. All right, so after you add in 1 egg, grab your whisk and mix it in. All right, after 1 egg, it should look a little thinner now, a little more liquidy. And we'll crack in 1 more egg. And like I mentioned before the video, if you're working outside, it's nice to have a bowl for your garbage so that your garbage just doesn't sit anywhere. All right, here's how it looks after adding in 2 eggs. Now, we're gonna grab our milk. We're gonna add in 1/4 cup of milk. So I'm just grabbing my half cup from before and just adding up with milk halfway through. And mix that all together again. Now, here's what it should look like. It looks pretty similar from before the milk, but it's a lot thinner now. Now, if you did decide to work outside and you brought out your milk, make sure to go run that back inside right now so that your milk doesn't go bad. So I will be right back. All right, now that your milk is back inside, we are going to add in our zest now from whatever citrus you chose. Like I mentioned earlier, we only had a lime in my house today, so today's a bit of an experiment. So just grab whatever citrus you have, grab your grater, and then just put over your bowl. And then again, make sure mom and dad know you're doing this, and if they want, for safety reasons, it's always best to have somebody with you to make sure that you don't get hurt because the grater is sharp. Grab your citrus and then just get the zest out into the bowl. This is definitely a long process. This is, for me at least, this recipe does take a little bit, and it's definitely because of the grating and getting the zest out. Get your zest in, mix it all in. And by now it'll still be about as thin as before, but you can see that there's the zest in there, the lime. Now, after zesting your citrus of choice, why waste your citrus when you can still use it? So, make sure to use basic safety, make sure your family members know you have a knife, and if you need assistance, just ask one of your parents for help. Now, we're just gonna take our lime, or your lemon, or your orange, or whatever, cut it in half. And this is what gets the real flavor in Kulurakia, is you just wanna get all the juice, as much juice as you can out of your citrus. Once you finish with the other half, grab the other half and get all the juice out of there too. Yeah, all right, let's look at our batter one more time. Again, looks pretty liquidy. It kind of looks like a sweet omelet almost, but that's not the purpose of today. So, once you mix it up again, now we're gonna move on to our baking powder. Grab a teaspoon and your baking powder, and you're gonna put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I know earlier I was talking about guests with things, but 2 teaspoons of baking powder are important. You don't want to do too much or too little of baking powder. You want to get as accurate as you can. Mix it all in. Now, you might notice it kind of clumps up the baking powder. That's just kind of how baking powder works. So don't worry about that. That will go away once we add in our flour. But before we put in our flour, we need to put in 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. So I found a trick with baking is you can use the same measuring device if you use dry ingredients before, but once you put in wet ingredients, you can't mix it again. But since baking powder is dry, we'll just use our vanilla in the same one. And then just a teaspoon. And then mix it all up. All right, finally, we've gone to our last ingredient. We're gonna grab our flour, and there's not really a perfect amount of flour you can put in. I usually just put in however much, quote, feels right for the recipe. I usually just start by putting a half cup in and then kind of going through from there. Now once you add the flour, this is really the part where the recipe starts to come together. Unlike most cake recipes, this one, at least in my experience, the batter looks very thin and watery until you put the flour in, and then it just kind of all comes together like you'd wish it to. You can see it looks a lot more like cake batter now, but it's still pretty liquidy for me. Put in another half cup. well, not a half cup, because half cup did a lot. Just put in however feels right. You know? Jesus and Saint Euphrosynos are with you. They'll help guide you so that you can be the next Gordon Ramsay. So yep, just we're getting closer. I'll say I'm about 3/4 cups of flour right now, I think. So maybe a little bit more. For me today, I'm gonna stop at 1 cup of flour. Try to match where I am currently, and that'll give you the best results. Now, inside, I am going to be heating the oven to 350 degrees. Once more, make sure your family knows you are using the oven for safety purposes, as just good communication skills in general to tell your family about. So while you're in there, clear off your oven if there's anything on there and preheat it to 350 degrees. Grab your baking pan of choice, some nonstick spray, shake your spray up from a little distance, and then grab your paper towel or napkin. I have a napkin today. And then just move that grease around in your pan to make sure it gets everywhere so that it'll come out of your pan easily. And then you can throw that aside to your trash. Now, if you need help, if the bowl is too big or something, grab a family member to help you with this step. But we are going to transfer our cake batter into our pan now. There's no good way for me to really show you this. Unless there is. There might be a good way. Hold on. Is this a good way? Okay. Just want to pour that into your pan. Alright, our cake batter is in its pre-greased pan. We're gonna wait for our oven to preheat to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're gonna put in our cake batter into the oven, let it bake usually for about 15 to 20 minutes or until it's golden brown. And once it's ready, we'll do a little taste test. While you are waiting, both for preheat and while it's baking, make sure to clean up your entire area. We want to keep our kitchens nice and clean, and we want to take responsibility and make sure we aren't leaving a mess behind for our family to clean up. So, once my cake is ready, I will see you in a little bit. Alright villagers, it's been about half an hour now. My cake has baked and is cooled off. This is what the final product looks like. It kind of looks like a basic vanilla cake, but should be pretty good. Yep, that just tastes like Pascha to me. One last thought I want to leave with all of you is a reason why, if you haven't noticed, lots of Pascha dishes actually are made with risen bread. For example, there's the artos that is traditionally used in church services, and in Russian tradition there's actually a type of bread or cake that you make out of a can, and it like rises in the can. And that's because Pascha is the celebration of our risen Lord, so that's why we eat risen bread. And I just think that's a little bit of interesting theology to think about how we really do have symbolism in everything we do, and how everything we do as Orthodox Christians has a purpose. So with that in mind, thank you, villagers, for joining me today. I hope you got a little taste of Pascha, or how I've made Pascha for the past couple of years. I highly suggest maybe trying making true Kulurakia in its cookie form. I just couldn't figure it out. But I hope you enjoyed baking with me today, and make sure tonight to go to evening prayers. Evening prayers is happening every single night of virtual camp, Monday through Friday, for the whole summer. Make sure to go to virtual prayers. We have great morning program, lessons and Christian Ed lessons. Session priests will be giving talks. There will be evening program on Thursday night, so make sure you go. Enjoy all of virtual camp. We're so happy that although we can't be together, we can still be together in spirit. And with that, have a great Pascha and a great day. Bye.